caught me reading my program from this weekend from Yakima Speedway when I went to the Apple Cup. But let's get started with the show. Howdy, race fans. Welcome to my little show about racing I like to call In the Pits with me, StockCar Scott, each Wednesday here on the YouTube during racing season when I feel like it. Race viewing began Thursday with practice for NASCAR's Sprint Cup and Xfinity Series at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. Friday, Cousin Carl Edwards took the Sprint Cup pole with the Joker Logano on the pole, on the outside of the front row there at Texas Speedway for Saturday's NASCAR Sprint Cup Commander 500. Also Friday was the Xfinity Series race in Texas. The Toad was on the pole and won yet another race in that division. Dale Jr. was in the race and got a top 5, which seemed to help him race better Saturday. Phenom Eric Jones started and finished second behind his Toadish teammate. His other JGR teammate, Daniel Suarez, still leads the points with the next Xfinity Series race this Saturday during the day at Bristol, baby. And they're going to have like heat races and stuff, so it's going to be something to see. After the Busch race, and I said that on purpose, I watched the K&N West race from a few weeks ago at Kern County Raceway. I think I mentioned the outcome in another episode of In the Pits, but third-generation driver Todd Gilliland won, and our local favorite Parker Stevens finished 18th after a blown tire and hard contact with the wall. The next K&N race is May 7th at that sweet little track in Tucson, Arizona. It was really nice that NBCSN showed the race twice so I could get a chance to see it. Saturday was a busy day with the Cup race on in the evening and qualifying heat races and trophy dashes for the Apple Cup weekend at Yakima Speedway. So we headed east about noon into a Seattle traffic jam that caused us to miss a few of the trophy dashes. We got there in time for all the heat races, but had to learn later in the pits that the Honey Badger, Andy Soul, had a mount break and go through a tire for an eventful qualifying lap. After fun in the sun at Yakima Speedway, my wife and I retired to the Sun Country Inn to watch almost the entire rain-delayed Texas 500. The good part was Dale Jr. finishing second. The bad part was second to the Toad. Unfortunately, my wife also learned the drawbacks of having two favorites. When her local favorite, Casey Kane of Enumclaw, helped her most favorite driver, Vancouver, Washington's Greg Biffle, into the wall there at Texas Speedway. Yeah, not the best of nights. And no matter how the NASCAR media spins and talks up the Toad and tries to turn him into a good guy, I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it, race fans. Once a Toad, always the Toad. Albeit a Toad with talent, still a Toad, and Toads need squashing. To top it off, he's a Toad in a devil car. The next Sprint Cup race is Sunday during the day at Bristol, baby, where I am hoping for better racing outcomes for my favorites. There were no races for F1 or IRL this past weekend, but both have races this weekend with F1 in China. It's called Sunday, but I do believe it's late Saturday night, and IRL on the streets of Long Beach on Sunday during the day. I have been considering discontinuing international open wheel racing coverage because race fans can obtain that elsewhere. And local racing is really demanding a lot more of my time. So if you wish to comment, hey, input is welcome. Let me input me a little bit of Mountain Dew here so I can get through the rest of the show. Thank you, Dale and Michael Ann, for the Mountain Dew in the pits at Yakima. The rest of my weekend was filled with the 50th Apple Cup race weekend at Yakima Speedway, as one can tell from my YouTube channel. I will have more videos to add as I have time to add them, and I hope you have seen the first three that I posted. Over 700 watches for those first three videos. Those were some good races too. First up, there was the 50-lap Northwest Pro 4 Alliance Challenge Series. It was won after a long green flag run by number 16, Rick Thompson, followed by his brother Steve in the 03 in second. In third was the number 9, Bill McAdams' car, but he got tangled up in a crash after the checkers there in turn 1. And that video's already gotten over 100 views. Thank you very much for each and every one. Then came the Columbia River Legends Series with a couple dozen cars to run on the half mile there at Yakima Speedway. They ran a 40-lap feature that had the closest finish of the day, with a strong number 16 of Dwayne Swanson besting young Tristan Hyder in the number 24. Finishing closely behind in third was the number 22 of Jake Woods. Those little cars, they're really growing on me, and I'm looking forward to seeing them race again this weekend at South Sound Speedway. I don't think it will be the Columbia River Legends per se, but Legends nonetheless. But even better, because I got a favorite legend driver at South Sound, number 36, Kevin the Warrior Conway. So I want to be there this weekend to cheer him on to victory, or at least a really good finish. Also on the card for South Sound Speedway this Saturday are Hobby Stocks, Bumblebees, and twin 50-lap super late model mains. That usually means super late models to start and end the evening's racing. That should really be fun. But back to Yakima with the third feature of the day, a 100-lap race featuring the West Coast Late Model Series, which had the largest starting field of the day with a whopping total of 28 older late models lined up on Sunday to take the green for their Apple Cup event. As you may have seen from several videos that are making rounds, a rookie mistake at the start of the race led to a serious incident entering turn 1 that took out several cars before the race even had a chance to get going. Everyone was okay, but a half dozen cars or so did not make it back out for the complete restart. Once the race did get running, pole sitter number 13, Greg Coleman, paced the early laps with a car and driver that had not been on track in a dozen years, but he was able to have fun and be competitive in this, my favorite regional touring series. As the race wore on, defending West Coast Late Model Series champion number 95, Buck Knoll Jr., battled up front with number 3, Andy Beeman, number 27, Mark Berrio, and number 5, Eric Hargraves, who is returning to racing a limited schedule after taking a few years off to better enjoy fatherhood and family. See, folks, even our favorite local drivers see the need to keep what is important in perspective. Way to go, Eric. Eric had a beautiful Batman themed livery on his Pontiac GTO that I am sure I have seen in Victory Circle at Yakima in the past. And even though I am a Buck Knoll Jr. fan, I wouldn't mind seeing the Eric Hargraves GTO in victory circle again, as long as Bucky is second and leading the points. But I digress. But while I be digressing, let me elucidate on my apparel. My wife and I got these sweet t-shirts and this cool cap and this nice hoodie here because we are, as it says on the back of the hoodie and the shirt, we are Buck backers. I also obtained an awesome West Coast late model cap and t-shirt combo that I will be modeling in the future on a future episode of In the Pits. But right now, you see that Wilson is sporting the cap, and here is one of the shirts that are really sweet with the logo on the front and much larger on the back. So hopefully those will be available because they are made up by Atomic Screen Printing there at Yakima Speedway, and so as they sell through them, hopefully they will get some more. But thank you very much, Sarah, for the ones that I got. But I bet Sarah would right now be wanting me to tell y'all about the race. So, after many exciting laps of side-by-side action between number 3, Andy Beeman, and number 95, Buck Knoll Jr., the defending series champion was able to wrestle the lead away. And then Beeman just faded there. He faded back to be passed by number 27, Mark Barrio, and for second there, and the returning number 5, Eric Hargraves, for third. And that was the way that the opening race of the 2016 West Coast late model season ended, with my favorite, Buck Knoll Jr., getting off to a great start with his title defense with an impressive win at his home track. And even though he did a little agricultural driving there late in the race, Jamison Armstrong in the number 57 Camaro came back to be the highest finishing Mid-Columbia Dermatology rookie contender of the race. The next race on the West Coast Late Model Series schedule, sponsored by Better All Auto Sales and Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, is again at Yakima Speedway for another 100-lap feature on the 7th of May, and I will be there. And before I go on to other things, I'd like to thank the entire field of drivers that took the green flag at Yakima for the West Coast Late Model Series. They are Todd Connell, Ron Morton, Billy Scribner, Matt Stevenson, Jim Franklin, Andy Beeman, Eric Hargraves, Doug Poyer, Chad Ayers, Rick Gerard, Derek Ball, Michael Brooks, Greg Coleman, Rich Peters, Adam Kinkle, Eric Lee, Andy the Honey Badger Soul, Mark Barrio, Max Schroeder, Sean Ross, Chad Hinkle, Brooke Schimmel, Wild Bill Mitchell, Trevor Flora, Jamison Armstrong, Justin Dunnigan, Kyler Conniff, and my favorite 2015 West Coast Late Model Champion and winner of the 2016 Apple Cup 100, Buck Knoll Jr. But thank you all for coming and putting on a great show, and also thanks to all of the officials of the West Coast Late Model Series, especially Sarah, Mike, Mayor. You guys are great. Thank you very much. And folks, you need to go see West Coast Late Model Series because it's big time racing, folks. Oh, let me get me a drink and I'll finish this thing off. You know, for me, the actual Apple Cup, the Northwest Late Model Series 150 was a very anticlimactic way to end the day. a legendary Northwest driver that I'm not really fond of won a stinker by leading every lap for maybe his, fourth or fifth Apple Cup win. The Riddles and Garrett Archer did all they could to keep the other Garrett from winning, but came up short. And so because of who won, I've just not been able to find the time yet to post the video that I have of it as of yet. Maybe I'll get around to it when I feel like it. The next race for these cars is the Northwest, for the Northwest Late Model Series, is at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, a track I haven't been to in years. Well, now that racing season is again in full swing, I am all ready to go again. Like I said, I will be attending the races at South Sound Speedway this weekend, as they have twin super late model 50-lap mains, as well as Legends, Bumblebees, and Hobby Stocks. Evergreen Speedway, on the other hand, has the Nissan Fest car show. I guess they're being infested by Nissans, and they're having also drifting, and that sounds god awful. But and if anything is happening at Yakima, back at Yakima Speedway, I don't know, because I can't find their schedule. They didn't put one in the program, so it might be tough for you to find some racing, but you should be able to find some racing somewhere out there. Even if you go out and check out some dirt racing there maybe, and tell me how it was. But go see some racing. It looks like the weather is going to be really good. And that is where I will be this weekend, because I'm StockCar Scott, and this is In the Pits. Thanks for watching this week, and catch me each week for new episodes of In the Pits with me, StockCar Scott. Same Stock Car time, same Stock Car channel, when I feel like it. And please be sure to watch another throwback episode on Thursday of the Waterboys Sports Show there tomorrow, and see how I got my start a dozen years ago. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate each and every watch, because I'm StockCar Scott, and this is In the Pits.